Good morning, students. Welcome to November. It is the day before Election Day. I hope you all are ready for what the next few days are going to bring. Make sure that you guys are logged into your Schoology and are taking this week's pre-assessment. It's how we start every week. And I do want you guys in the pre-assessment working on that. So I will show you how to get there just as a reminder. So you should be in your Math Skills 4 class, right, with Mr. Graciano. Make sure you scroll down to the red folder, which is for week 7, ratios and ratio tables. And then make sure you access the second thing that's in that folder, which is the ratios and ratio tables pre-assessment. So please go ahead and start working on that. Once you finish that, and we're still waiting on other people to finish, and if you have not taken your week 6 exit ticket, then go back to the week 6 folder, right? Go to week 6 and make sure you do the exit ticket, okay? All right, but right now you should be focusing first and foremost on the pre-assessment, then the exit ticket if you haven't done that, and then thirdly, you can do this discussion post, okay? So make sure you guys are working on that right now to start off. And we will get started as soon as everybody has taken the pre-assessment. Yep, absolutely. Week 7, and then you're working on that pre-assessment in the week 7 folder. Yeah, it's always the red folder. That's the week that we're in. I try to color code it.
Okay, I got you. What comes after the pre-assessment? You said.
If you didn't complete last week's exit ticket, go ahead and do that. So go back to week 6 and complete the exit ticket.
Okay, all right. I got some lot of catching up to do. That's crazy.
All right, so continue to work on whatever you guys are working on. I'm going to go ahead and make an announcement while you all are finishing up. Um, just wanted to let you all know that tomorrow there will not be any classes. So our CEO decided to close for the day tomorrow and not hold any classes so that everybody could feel free to vote if they haven't yet voted. Tomorrow is election day. And if you can exercise your right to vote, please try to do so. And so tomorrow there will be no live classes. So if you are normally scheduled to have your reading classes on Tuesday or whatever other class you may have, there are no classes, no live classes tomorrow, which gives you all a great time to get caught up on math if you've already voted. Just saying, I'm not going to force anybody to do any math tomorrow, but I'm just saying, I mean, if you're just at home trying to figure out what to do, it's always a great idea to just do some math. I mean, why not? So just letting you know, tomorrow there are no live classes. How do we help out Elena and try to figure out how to draw this mural in a scale drawing?
Hmm. Hold up. The wall is 9 feet high. Two plain little sheet drawers. 11 inches from now. Am I allowed to use a calculator?
You are allowed. You are allowed to use a calculator. This does require a calculator.
So let me see. Yeah, so let me see. Wait. So let me see. Hold on. I think I'm getting there. That would need to be.
What are you doing? What are your steps? Talk us through it as you're doing it. What are you trying to do? Tell me what you're attempting to do.
I'm trying to.
What are you getting? What are you doing?
All right, so honestly, God, truth, what I'm trying to do is, all right, so I was doing a pre-assessment, I told you math is kind of hard for me, so I'm trying to take my mind from away from the other question I was going to answer and put it actually right here. And
okay.
So honestly, God, truth, what I'm looking at, this one happened to be, we won't happen to have to. I don't know, because I don't want to.
You were putting something in your calculator, though. What were you putting in your calculator?
That was actually dividing. I'm embarrassed to say, but I was actually trying to. I was actually just trying to find a way. I ain't just want to pick an answer.
Okay. Well, here's what the first thing I'm going to tell you to do is always make sure you're reading your question. And what's some of the things that you notice about this question? What is it saying? What are some of the words that are important to us in this question?
It's 9 feet high.
Okay.
Scale.
9 feet high is important. Why? Okay, good. What else is important?
Another thing I caught on is it's too small. What she drew is too small.
Why is it too small? I'm not saying you're wrong, but why do you think it's too small? What's making it too small? Elaborate.
All right, so I'm gonna just throw this out there. The 11 inches is not well. I don't want to say it's not close enough, but it's also more adding to it with the 17 feet long. So she's gonna have to do a lot of drawing.
Okay, so you picked up on something, but you didn't completely pick up on it. Here's the thing: we have feet and we have inches. All right, we need to make a comparison here, but we need to make them both feet or either both inches. So you saw something, but you didn't completely complete that thought, right? So this is good. It is a good observation. But what I want you to see when you see something like this on a math problem, you can't do a good comparison if you're comparing feet to inches. You need to make them both the same measurement. So the first thing that we need to recognize here is that we have to do some converting, right? We have to do a conversion here, right? And we need to make them both inches. We're going to keep it all inches. We have to make all the measurements into inches. So I have 11 inches long and I have 9 feet high and 17 feet long. How many inches are in a foot?
Uh, 12 inches.
There are 12 inches in a foot. So I need to multiply all of my feet by 12 inches to figure out how many inches are in each measurement. So I have to do 9 times 12. What's 9 times 12?
108.
Okay, so I have 108 inches. And what's 17 times 12? You can use a calculator. I'm fine with the calculator.
204.
Ooh, I know what it's leading up to.
Okay, so we have 204 inches.
What?
All right.
What is
Great.
that? What is okay?
I'm sorry?
No, nothing.
All right, so I figured out that was my first thing I needed to do. Now let's keep reading this question and see what else we can pick out of it. So she is drawing a scale drawing. What does that mean, a scale drawing? This is an important term here. It's going to tell us what we need to do. What is a scale drawing?
That's it's a complete, it's a drawing. I mean, like, not to try to say it like that, but it's a drawing, like a scale drawing.
So when I have a scale drawing and I say scale, that means that the measurements are not the exact same, but they represent the same thing that I'm trying to convey, right? So if I have an architectural plan of my house, right? My house is big, but if I have a drawing of it, it can't be the same size as my house, right? That doesn't make any sense. So to put it on paper, I'm going to draw it to scale. That means that every inch is going to represent a certain number of feet, for instance, right? If she is doing a scale drawing and she's saying that it's on a paper that is 11 inches long, then that 11 inches needs to represent the same length that the mural is, right? So that 11 inches needs to be related to the 204 inches, all right? So if we are doing any kind of relationship where we're comparing one thing to another, we always use a proportion, okay? So we need to set up a proportion. So we're gonna do, what I think is gonna be the easiest way to do it is if we do 108 over 204 is equal to X over 11, right? Because the 11 needs to be related to the 204 because that's the length. So these are both length measurements. That's why they are going to be related, right? And we're trying to figure out how high in inches she needs the scale drawing to be. Okay, so this is what we have to set up here. Once we have set up this proportion, how do we solve a proportion? What do we have to do to solve a proportion?
We had to do cross multiplying. It seemed like if it's anybody said 100.
Cross multiply. I should really be asking Lucretia. She did so well on her pre-assessment. Clearly she remembers how to work with proportions. You got those proportion questions correct, right? You have to cross multiply. So that means I have to multiply 108 times 11 and 200 times X. What is 108 times 11? Again, feel free to use your calculator.
So basically it's 1,188.
What'd you get?
1,188. That's
1,188. Okay. Is equal to 204 times X. So now to solve for X, I just have to divide both sides by 204. So what is X equal to? What is 1,188 divided by 204?
Hello, say that again.
1,188 divided by 204.
This is like that would be just like 5.8. Cause they say
So we're going to get something like 5.82, which we're going to round, right? We're going to round it to 5.8 when we circle our answer here. Our answer is letter B.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So what happened to the 2 in the answer?
I'm sorry?
What happened to the 2? I mean, I see the 5.8, but what the 2?
We rounded.
Oh, I.
Yep, we just rounded. So that's for the 2. The 2.
I'm sorry, Mr. G. I'm not big on math, so I'm trying to
No,
catch
it's all
everything.
good. No worries. You got to ask the questions. That's how we learn, right? Ask questions, make mistakes. That's how we learn. So that's how we get this answer. So proportions, right? And proportional relationships are always tested on math tests. You have to be able to relate one thing to another, and the way that we relate them is by using a proportion, okay? This has come up now for the last 3 weeks. I hope you guys will keep seeing that proportions are a good way to solve problems when we are making comparisons, okay? We have to use a proportion. So we're going to talk again this week about proportions, and the other thing that we're going to talk about are ratio tables, right? So we're going to look at the discussion post in week 7. So that's going to be the 3rd thing listed. The question says, what is a ratio table? I'm going to bring that up right now on our screen. So we're in the week 7 folder, and I want to click on the 3rd thing that says, what is a ratio table? So we're going to try to answer this question. Again, we are using the same idea of finding a pattern, right? We're going to compare one thing to another to figure out our patterns. So the Coca-Cola plant, I can't speak today apparently, ships out their soda in cases. The employees of the factory need to keep track of the number of cases they have to ship each time a customer orders a certain number of bottles. Each case holds 15 bottles. Find out how many bottles there are in 2, 3, 4, or more cases and use the table to write your answers. So if I have 1 case, I have 15 bottles. So how many are in 2 cases?
Okay, because here's the thing I realized something that when I found out if they say 15, so basically you have to follow that 515. So for example, there are 2, 2 is 30. So we know 2 is 30.
Good.
50 times 2 is 30.
Good. Yeah. So it's going to be 30 here, and then it's going to be, right, it's going to keep 40. Going by 15. Absolutely, right? So yeah, this is a ratio table. This is a relationship. If I have 15 bottles in 1 case, I have to have 30 in 2 cases because I'm just adding it all up, right? Yep. What the goal here is to be able to see these relationships and apply them in different ways, right? I don't need to see 3 and 4 to understand that 5 should have a certain number because of what the relationship is between 1 and 15, right? We need to get out of the pattern that we sometimes get stuck in where we need to only be counting, right? And counting up. If we skip around, you should still be able to get the same answer by just looking at the relationship. So that's what we're looking at here. I'm going to put in the answers for this relationship. Not that I need to, I think, but I'll do it. Right? If 1 case has 15, then 2 cases has to have 30. 3 cases, 45. 4 cases, 60, 75, 90, 105, 120, right? We're just counting by 15. What I was saying before it though is that if I don't have the relationships here in the middle, right? For whatever reason, let's say I don't have 2, 3, or 4, and I don't have 6 or 7, right? I should still be able to figure out 5 and 8, right? Because if the relationship says that I have that 1 case is 15 bottles, then all I have to do is use the relationship that I see, right? How do I get from 1 to 5? I have to multiply by 5, right? How do I get from 15 to 75? That's also a multiplication by 5, all right? So use the relationships that you do have to figure out what's missing, okay? So I don't need everything in the middle to understand that I can still figure out the other ones. If I don't have 5, I can still get to 8. 1 times 8 is 8. So that means I just have to multiply 15 by 8 to get 120. All right, so we're going to work a lot with ratio tables this week and our proportions to make sure that we're able to compare and contrast things. All right, so I am going to get into our notes next. All right, so we have our notes to refer back to help us out with this work. All right, so let's get into it. Our notes are again in our week 7 folder.
What the hell?
All right, and our notes are the 3rd thing listed. I'm gonna go ahead and open those in Kami.
Mr. G,
Yes, ma'am.
on my exit ticket, I'm stuck on questions 9 and 10.
Wow, what happened? You mean you can't do them, or they're not letting you, it's not letting you do it? Let me see, let me go in here. Exit ticket, let me see what these questions are. Okay, so for numbers 9 and 10, you're using your simple interest formula, which I put on there. Did you see the formula? I put it in there so you can use it. The I equals PRT, so you just have to use that formula to try to get the answer.
Okay, okay.
Yep.
And
Okay. All right, back to our notes on ratios and proportions. Okay. Pull it up. All right. So of course, since we're talking about ratios, right? A ratio is a comparison of 2 quantities by division, right? A ratio of A to B can be written as A colon B or A over B. So it can be written as with a colon or with a fraction or as the way that it has it right here, right, with the word 2. These are the 3 ways in which I can express a ratio: using a colon, writing it as a fraction, or using the word 2. Okay. Ratios that name the same comparison are said to be equivalent, right? So they are equal to each other, right? And any statement that shows that 2 ratios are equal is called a proportion. So that's how we get those relationships, and that's how those things are related, right? So this statement here is a proportion, and a proportion is made up of 2 equivalent ratios. All right. Okay, so let's talk about proportions. 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. Let's resume. Okay, a proportion, right? That's the word that's missing here. Such as A over B is equal to C over D can also be written as A to B is equal to C to D, right? All right, so the diagonal terms B and C are called cross products. Right, and the diagonal terms A and D are also called cross products. Right, both of these are diagonal terms. How about Mr. G spelled these words right? Diagonal. Diagonal. O-N-A-L, excuse me. The diagonal terms A and D are also called cross products. Okay, and that's important because you need to know that you're going to be multiplying the A and the D and the B and the C, right? And that's how you figure out that a proportion is equal if their cross products are equal. If the cross products are not equal, it is not a true proportion. So in a true proportion, the product of the means and the product of the extremes are also called the cross products are equal. Okay. So each of these cross products have different names, and they define them here as the means and the extremes. But for me, they're just cross products, and they'll always just call them cross products. But just so you know that the left to right diagonal is known as the means, and the right to left are known as the extremes. It doesn't matter to me, but they are just cross products, right? But they are diagonal from each other, and they are the cross products that you must multiply to determine whether or not a proportion is equal, okay? If their cross products are equal, it's a true proportion. So if A times D is equal to B times C, then the proportion is true, right? So you had that question. I think that was your first, both your first and second question on your pre-assessment was to determine whether or not those first two proportions were true. The way to figure it out is to multiply and see if they are in fact equal. If they're not equal, it is not a true proportion. Okay, so that's what that was testing, right? Whether or not you knew that definition. But now you know that definition, and so whenever you see that question again in the future, you will be able to get it correct. See how it works? Lovely. All right, let's keep going. All right, so again, the way that we see if a proportion is true is we use cross multiplication. Okay, right, because of the cross products property, if AB equals CD, then A times B equals B times C, which is what I just wrote out before, right? So we can try an example of that. If I tell you that 3/4 is equal to 6 over X, what is the value of X?
Are we cross multiplying?
Yep.
So how do we cross multiply?
So we're going to do 4 times 6. It's 4 times 6.
Okay.
What's that? What's 4 times 6?
That 20. Okay. So that's my most concern, 3 and X.
Well, what's 4 times 6? I didn't hear you.
24.
Okay, great. Okay, good. 4 times 6 is 24. And now you have 3 times X. So 3 times X is just going to be equal to 3X. So I have 24 is equal to 3.
All right, so wait. Just real quick before you keep going. So, all right, so when cross multiplication, how you just did 3 times X, that normally becomes that number in X?
Correct. Whenever
Right,
you're
okay.
multiplying a number to a variable, the result is the number in front of the variable.
All right, okay, I got you.
Okay.
Whew.
So now my
Yeah.
final step is going to be to get rid of the number in front of the variable. Right now they're being multiplied together. What's the opposite of multiplication?
Subtraction.
No, what's the opposite of multiplication?
Oh,
Division.
division. I'm sorry.
Division, right? So to get rid of this 3 in front of this X, I now have to divide both sides by 3. So it's going to cancel out over here, and now I'm left with 24 divided by 3. What's 24 divided by 3?
8.
8. So my X is equal to 8.
8 equals X.
So that means 3/4 is equal to 6 over 8.
Oh, so
And we can test to see whether or not this is true. We can test using multiplication. What do I have to multiply 3 by to get 6? 3 times what gives me 6?
2.
2. How do I get from 4 to 8? 4 times what equals 8?
2.
It's not a trick question. 2. Good. Okay. So if these numbers are the same, if I'm multiplying by the same factor, right, that means that it's true. It worked out, right? It worked out perfectly.
Oh, I got you.
Okay?
I got you because both
This
of
is how
them.
this is how I'm testing my answer. I'm testing to see if it works. Oh yeah, look at that. I used the same factor. That means I must have done it right. Okay? This is how you check. Sometimes you're not even going to have to cross multiply to solve a proportion because you can see that, well, 3 times 2 is 6. So I know that 4 times it has to be 8, right? I don't have to cross multiply. I can look at that and see what my answer is. That's okay too. But sometimes it's not going to be quite that easy, and so you need to cross multiply. know that you should always cross multiply when you are checking to see if a proportion is true or if you're trying to find a missing value in a proportion.
Gotcha.
Okay. All right, so we're gonna check on letters A and B, and we're gonna see whether or not they are true. So we're gonna cross multiply to see if they're true. What's 3 times 3?
Nah.
9. What's 4 times 2?
8.
Is this a true proportion?
No.
They have to be equal. They're not equal. I have 8 and I have 9, so this is not a true proportion.
Oh, I got you. So it's
No.
not. Just like update gave you the same answer, like
If
3
they
and
give me
4
the
and
same
6 and 8.
answer, then it
Yeah.
would be true.
Uh,
Okay, so it's not true because I did not get the same answer. All right, what about over here on the right with letter B? We can use our calculators, but what's 25 times 3?
75.
Okay, what is 5 times 15?
75. So they do match up.
So then this is a true proportion. Okay,
I think I got it. I got it.
not a true proportion because they don't equal the same number. This is a true proportion because they do equal the same number. All right. This is what we really need to understand with proportions is that we are saying that they are equal, and we are proving that they are equal by cross multiplication. If for whatever reason when you cross multiply you don't get the same answer, you did something wrong or it's not a true proportion, right? So if you're solving for x and then when you do the cross multiplication at the end it doesn't work out, you did something wrong, right? That's how you check. You can always check our math several ways. That's one of the ways to check. Okay, let's keep going. We got a few minutes left, so try to get as much done of our notes today as possible. All right, so like we just did, when one term of a proportion is unknown, you can use cross multiplication. Right? To find the value of the variable that makes a true proportion. How do you do that? First, you find the cross products and then set them equal to each other. Then use division to solve for the variable, right? These are the steps that we just took to solve the 3/4 is equal to 6/8. So we're going to try it again. So we have another example. It says 3/7 is equal to x over 14. I'm going to cross multiply. So I need to multiply 7 times x, right? So 7 times x, and then set it equal to the other cross product, which is 14 times 3. 7 times x is going to give me 7x. What's 14 times 3?
42.
Very good. All right. So I have now done, I've done the first couple steps. I cross multiplied and I set them equal to each other. And now the last thing is to use division to solve for the variable. So I'm going to divide by what?
You're going to divide 7x by 42.
Nope, just 7. I want the x. I want the x to stay. So I'm just going to divide by 7.
All right, I got you.
Okay. You're dividing both sides by 7. That means you're going to get x is equal to what? What's 42 divided by 7?
Hello, you said 42 divided by 7.
Yep.
That's going to give you 6.
Very good. So x is equal to 6.
Oh, okay.
Okay, x is equal to 6. All right, so now you guys are going to try. You guys are going to try A and B. Let's see, how many people are in class today? Just 5 of you. Oh my goodness. Where is everybody today? All right, so I'm just gonna go in order from how you guys are appearing on my list. So Deontay, Toya, and Lucretia are gonna be responsible for letter A, and Marvin and Renee will be responsible for letter B. So all that means is that I'm gonna look to you guys for the answer. I'm gonna give you a minute to do it on your own, and I'm just gonna ask you how you got the answer. Use the steps that are on the screen to help you, right?
Mrs. G, I'm waiting for mine to pull up. I've been waiting for like 10 minutes now. Something's wrong with my laptop, but I'm just following along with the class.
That's fine. I mean, if you can see it on the screen though, right? Letter A?
Yes, I can see it.
Okay. Especially when it comes to your school laptops, guys, it's always a good idea to restart it every once in a while. These laptops don't survive just being like closed, like when you're done, when you close them for the day, like restart them or shut them down because they need to rest sometimes. All right, do my letter A folks have an answer? No? What about my letter B folks?
It's 15.
All right, so what did you do to get 15, Marvin?
Okay, so what happened I did multiplying by 5 to 9. That gave me 45.
Okay.
5. Then divided that by 3. Divide that by 3, it'll give you 15.
Okay, very good.
Set up, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so K is equal to 15 for letter B. Okay, and then Toya got 36 for letter A. Okay, so let's see. We're gonna do that one too. So I'm gonna cross multiply this 60 times 3, which is just 6 times 3 with a 0 at the end. So that's gonna give me 180. And I do 5 times x, which is gonna be 5x. I'm gonna divide both sides by 5. And that is going to give me 36. Very good. Good work.
Oh, so that's where that came from. Hey, Mr. G, if you don't mind, can you lead us right here for a little bit? I just wanna take as many notes as I can.
No worries.
That became a fact.
All right, so we're gonna wrap up whatever we can of the notes. I think we're gonna just finish through page 2. So what that means as far as work for today, if you're here live with me and you've already completed your pre-assessment and the discussion post, then that's all you need to do for today. If you're watching this back, please make sure you complete your discussion post and the pre-assessment in order to get credit for today. There's nothing else that must be submitted today because we need to finish our notes still. So we'll finish the notes on Wednesday. Remember that there are no classes tomorrow, Tuesday. So no reading class tomorrow if you are scheduled for reading, because it is election day. We want to encourage you and everybody else who is associated with Academy of Hope to vote.
So basically, with today, we don't got nothing to submit today. Just we had to know if we had to do it.
Correct.
Hey, Mr. G, you want to go vote?
I already voted. I voted by mail because I'm not registered to vote in DC. I'm still registered to vote in another
I already did a couple weeks ago. I did a couple of weeks ago. So I renewed. So
good for you. Yeah. So, but this is
I
my
don't
last.
know about nobody else, but I don't trust the mail-in ballots. That's why I said I'm gonna go in person. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but it's something about mailing in a vote. I don't trust that too much.
So I have.
You must know something we don't.
yeah.
It's always been me. Stuff like that, I think you should do in person. I don't stuff like that. Doing it through mail or by phone. No, I like to be in person to do it.
I will.
Lucretia, I'm with you on that. But the only time I've done a mail-in vote was when I trusted the mail, but Trump messing with the mail too much.
Right.
Let me say one thing though, be honestly. The only thing what we worry about now is the deal we have to focus on what we need another president. So that's my only thing what I'm worried about. What I'm worried about the most for everybody right now. But
I understand, Mr. G, you're not registered in DC, so you couldn't do it in DC. So I understand that because I had to do that for my daughter when she was at college. I had to mail hers to her, then she mailed it to me, and I submitted it. So I understand.
Yeah,
but I did mine on Thursday.
In every single election, I have never been at home where I needed to vote. I've always been somewhere else. Like I was studying abroad. I was in Spain. Like I've done a bunch of different things where I've had to mail my vote in. This is the first year this is the fourth presidential election I voted in. This is the first time I've ever felt nervous about mailing in my vote. So I understand exactly where you guys are coming from with the mail. This is the first time I've ever felt nervous about my vote. I was so nervous. I was like, oh my God, what's going on? But they sent me an update. My vote has already been counted. It's already been received.
You're muted.
Your voice went out.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think you muted.
I'm not muted. That's my internet connection. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm just saying. But anyway, my vote has finally been counted. It's good, but I understand where you guys are coming from. But don't be afraid in general of voting by mail. It's only this year with our current president that it's been a concern.
Yeah, I know. I would rather take that 5-minute walk down to the school and do it. I'm not doing nothing by
Joe Biden better win.
Like that, not by me.
Joe Biden win.
All right.
But I've noticed that the 3 times I went to the polls, if you go in the afternoon, it's not crowded. But if you go early in the morning, you'll have to stand in line for a long time.
I agree. But what I'm telling everybody this. I hoping it better be Joe Biden better they ain't gonna win the election on the floor. That might be
great. Yes. We'll hopefully things will work out. We'll see what happens tomorrow. We'll find out. All right. So before we go to that, I just want to wrap up one more question. We're gonna look at this ratio question and figure out how to answer those ratio questions. So let's look at that. And then we will end class. So the ratio of the number of bones in a human's ears to the number of bones in the skull is 3 to 11. There are 22 bones in the skull. So how many bones are in the ears?
Which, by the way, I know that answer too, so you have to give me on that if I did. So it basically is 6. It's 6 actually.
Okay.
6. There's only 6 bones in the ears.
Right. So if we are looking at this ratio, the ratio says it is 3 to 11. What does the 3 represent?
Represent the rate. It's only represent the ratio of a bone in a skull, didn't he?
So the whole thing is the ratio. What does the 3 represent?
3 represent the top.
I want to say the 3 represents the ear.
Good. So the 3 represent the number of bones in a human's ears. So 3 is ear bones. Okay. What does the 11 represent?
11 represents the skull.
The number of bones in the skull, right? Okay. So whenever a ratio is written, right? So it says 3 to 11, those numbers are written in the order of what we're comparing. So it says bones in the ear first. So that 3 represents bones in the ear. The 11 is second, and that's the second thing that's mentioned is the number of bones in the skull. So these are skull bones, okay? So that's how I know that, because I'm reading it and I have to read it in order from left to right. When you read a ratio, you're reading it in order also from left to right or from top to bottom. That's the order, right? So if I rewrite this ratio, it would be 3/11 to represent ears to skull. We always have to keep it in order, right? So that's the ratio. And then they're saying to us that there are actually 22 bones in the skull. So if my ratio is going from 3 to 11, but I'm increasing it from 11 to 22, right? This is going up by 2. That means the number of bones in the ear needs to also go up by 2. So my answer for this one is 6. So there are 6 bones in your ears. And that is actually true, just so you know. You do have 6 bones in your ears. They're the smallest bones in the human body, but you have 6 of them because there's 3 in each ear.
That's it.
All right. So again, as long as you have submitted your pre-assessment and commented on the discussion post for today, you do not have any more work to do for Mr. G. You do not have classes tomorrow, but on Wednesday, we will finish these notes and we will go over what else needs to be done on Wednesday. Okay?
Okay.
So
I can finish
everything we
my
don't have
exit ticket. If that's cool.
Please, if you have not submitted last week's exit ticket, yes, please still do that. That still needs to be done. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So with that, we don't have to submit anything today. Now I'm just saying that we don't have to submit anything today. That's